place. I'll provide you a brief update, and then I believe that we have representatives of Harris County here that will provide you additional updates in regards to the efforts to regain compliance with minimum jail standards. The items that we have been working with Harris County on in regards to the areas of non-compliance, observation rounds and staffing, based upon the weekly checks that we receive in documentation, which is reviewed by their inspector and assistant director. It appears that they have been able to attain compliance with those minimum standards, but they are still requesting that we hold off on conducting an inspection on that to ensure that there are no areas in which they may have a very short period of time in which they are understaffed, not meeting the 148 per floor, or if they do have any observation rounds that are not conducted in the required time frame. As you recall, at the last meeting, the Commission on Jail Standards, the remedial order was referred to the Office of the Attorney General for enforcement, and we will be making a recommendation after receiving additional comments from Harris County, and we do have a few questions that we would like to pose to the representatives from Harris County after they provide their update.
Philip Wolskis, Assistant Chief for Harris County. Our current notice of non-compliance from January on a special, we've submitted our action plan in January. We feel that was corrected in January. Wasn't a systemic issue. We just needed to provide some training to those additional officers, and that has been addressed. We expect to submit our letter for reinspection on that special within the next week or so. Then moving on to the remedial orders in place are our beds that had been suspended for the variance. We keep probably about double what's required over the 580 vacant and not for use, in accordance with that variance being removed or suspended at this time. Since February, when we were before you last, shortly after that, we went to the Harris County Commissioners Court, asked for 175 positions, specifically 150 detention officers and 25 deputies to up staffing. That was approved. So as of March 1st, we received those positions. In that time, as of this morning, we have 115 open jailer positions. Again, 150 of those are brand new within the last 60 days. So we were able to fill all the open positions that we reported to you in February, account for our attrition over the last few months, and already get into that 150 new positions that was just granted by our court 60 days ago. That's very positive for us. We have 20 cadets already approved for the next academy class, which should start in 2 weeks. And we're hopeful to use these next 2 weeks to get about 20 to 25 more to put in the next class. From February to April, we've released approximately 850 more people that have been booked in. So we're seeing a dramatic drop in our average daily population. In February, when we were here last, we were just under 9,700 total population, including outsourcing and those at the county jail. And for about the last month and a half, we're seeing to be down about 600 in population as steady. So during the week on site, we're running about 7,500, and we have staffing that would match up with that population, which ties in with the other remedial order to have the proper amount of staffing for the proper population numbers. We've done phenomenal work with the new DA's office in the last 180 days, and we're starting to see a dramatic drop in the backlog. So we've probably seen since June of 24, they were sitting about 1,400 in the criminal backlog, and in February we're down to 1,000. We're seeing our average length of stay. We reported 187 last time we were here, where that's down to 183. There's also some more talks about jail-specific dockets and other things. So our Criminal Justice Council is still putting together new plans to keep moving the backlog in the court system, which is one of the biggest drivers of our population. We've seen an increase in our paper ready. From February, we were sitting about 450, and that's about the average we've been seeing. that are waiting to go to TDC. In April, our high was 657, and on April 29th, when we pulled these numbers, we had 631 that were waiting to go to prison. And let's see. Our average population in February was, I already told y'all, close to 9,700, and in April, we were at 9,100. So we're seeing that sustained drop, about 550 to 600. So that coupled with our increase in staffing is, again, as what Director Wood mentioned, he's seeing in the levels of the ratio becoming in aligned, and it's consistent. Our supervision rounds, we stay keyed in on that, and that's still about 99.6, 99.7. It fluctuates on rounds on time. We go back and see the documentation when a round is late, and probably about 40 to 50% of that is a minute. So there's just too many variables to say whether a minute passed. Usually an officer is stopping and talking with an inmate, they need a paper, or it's just a lot of variables for that. So we keep that in mind and to stay within that operational level. So that's what we have. And we'll take any questions.
Any questions from the commission?
I'm not technically challenged here. Okay. I just see a red light. It's fine. Did a lot of homework on Harris County over the last few days and weeks. I went back to old books like this. I stayed up late last night to review my notes. And I have a number of questions for you all today. So, it's comfortable, but it may take a while, but I've got a lot of questions. So, if I go back to May of 2023, I see that we have 6 remedial orders of non-compliance. So I went all the way back to 23. And I started digging through all these records, and I heard testimony here today. And a lot of things keep coming up. But I'm going to go back to one that we have been talking about, at least a number of questions over the last few quarters, and that's the inmate population out of state. I looked at the numbers, and relatively they're the same from last quarter to this quarter. There's a few numbers here and there, but it's not material. So what I want to know is what efforts have you been making inside the state of Texas to get the inmates out in Texas versus Louisiana or Mississippi?
I would say the contracts that are in place went through RFP, so they're in place. We're not seeking any beds to increase the current number of inmates that are outsourced.
But you're not looking to bring any back to Texas because of contractual obligations, is that what you're saying?
Not at this time. We're not looking to expand outsourcing anywhere else. We're trying to bring inmates home to the jail proper.
So let's look at this. Let me ask you another. So if you have 1,100 outside of Texas today, do you see that number decreasing anytime soon?
That's always our goal. As we hire more officers, we have a remedial order in place that eliminated almost 600 variance beds from the commission. So there's a lot of factors that we don't want to bring inmates back from anywhere that would put us against what the jail commission is pushing us to do, which is have appropriate amount of officers to do that's all required.
Yeah, I know it's 148, and so I know that. So have you done any outreach to Texas county jails to accommodate those inmates that's in other states?
We're currently not seeking any other contracts, so no.
It's a little surprise to me, but I thought that was what we agreed to in the previous meetings.
That we would cancel current contracts that went through the RFP?
Contact other county jails to see if they could accommodate some of these inmates.
Without needing to increase bed space, you get where we're at, Commissioner?
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yes, you want Texas inmates in Texas.
I do. Always have. So what I would like to see the next quarter is at least some effort put forth trying to bring the inmates back to Texas. I'd like for you to reach out to other county jails to see if they can accommodate some of these inmates.
Chief Deputy Thomas Diaz from the Sheriff's Office. Thank y'all for having us. Thank all the community members here. Yes, we can absolutely do that. So we'll reach
that.
absolutely.
That's all I'm asking.
And I'll do it today.
I would appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I wish you to update the staff as soon as you have some movement on that.
Absolutely. So we're trying to meet those minimum standards for what we have today. And that's why the court has approved us the 150 more deputies. We've been aggressive in hiring those folks in the past, 3 months, 4 months. We've seen an increase in staffing. And so we're going to meet that benchmark. And then at that point, once we meet the benchmark, then we go back and say, to bring people back to Harris County Jail, we need this many more DOs. So we're very blessed to have gotten
To be
those.
clear, I'm not asking you to bring
No, I recognize that.
back to Harris because we don't want your numbers to get worse than they are.
No.
So I'm not asking you to do that. I'm talking about the other 248 jails. in
Yes.
Texas.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
what I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to take some quick notes.
please.
I'm ready, sir. Just making sure we contact. Making a little checklist, so make sure we don't miss anything. I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Let me move to the next here. Just this morning, we've heard, and I read through since 2023, the incidents that are related to medical services. And I want to dig in on that a little bit. Now, because of the challenges associated with staffing, congratulations, I'm glad Commissioners Court approved those positions. And I know that's going to help over time, but you also got to balance that with turnover, right? Because that happens too. So you might have a net zero at the end of the day.
I know we're exceeded the attrition rate.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I want to know is what impacts have this challenge or reduced staffing shortages had on inmate medical services? What kind of impact has your shortages had on inmates?
Just to confirm, you're asking like what? We have an outside vendor that does the healthcare, so the relationship we have with them is, I think, fantastic, and so we're still that hasn't been changed by the staffing levels.
Well, let me give you an example of the question I have.
Yes, sir.
So let's take someone that is in need of medical care.
Yes.
Okay, I know there's processes, there's procedures that have to be followed there in terms of how you have to have someone, you have to have an officer
Yes.
there because of that. So with this shortage, what impact does it have on an inmate that's in need of emergency care? Or, in other words, how long did it take before you had a shortage to get to an inmate when they had a need for medical care? Emergency.
Yes.
And how much time does it take now that you're in the shortage situation?
Well-
Because the concern I have is I'm pretty familiar with, I have relatives that are type 1 diabetics, and I know what that's all about, I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how much time is added to that care?
Well, we're supplementing staff, especially when we talk about medical care, with overtime deputy. We brought people out from on the streets, patrol people, to come in and help supplement that. So like as soon as as soon as we need to get to, someone's emergency care, we have supplemented the staff we have in the jail with people we have from the streets to enhance it. So we've committed to making sure that we get that care immediately. And so I would say that that there hasn't been a reduction in the emergency response.
How long does it take?
It just depends on the particular case. But for example, if they get a call and say we need an escort to be on the transport and go with someone to medical care, I mean it's minutes, less than 15 minutes that we have someone there.
At some point, I'd like to know more about that.
Sure.
Because I see the shortages adding to the care of the inmate in emergency situations. And the last question I think I have in this particular medical area is this act of medication distribution.
Okay.
So, do you, what kind of impact have you had on the ability to distribute medications on a timely basis to the inmates due to the shortage?
That'd probably be something I have to get back to you on time-wise, unless you have something, Chief.
For your first question, like diabetic, not just diabetic, but most of those end up in a specialty unit where nurses are in or on the floor repeatedly with officers. So there's not really a delay for a lot of those exigent. Switching to medication distribution, again, so the pharmacy staff, independent of us, has the ability to go up on floors if they need a specific officer to accompany them. So for medical distribution, I wouldn't believe there is a delay.
Well, let me just end with this. What I want to know more about in the medical area is when you have shortages, something's going to give. It just does. And so what I want to know is what has been suffering as a result of the shortages in the medical area, in particular areas of emergency care, and also in the area of medication distribution, particularly with inmates that have almost an immediate need for their medication. And what I don't want is to have an inmate denied receiving a medical prescription
Absolutely.
today because we're having a peak, we got to wait till tomorrow, and the inmate's up, we get work.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yes.
That's tracked completely different via, not Dr. Borson, but yeah, via medical records and the carts.
I want to get into that more as we go forward.
Absolutely.
Those are the kind of questions I'm going to have.
Yes, sir.
Would you find it beneficial if we brought a medical director from the company next commission meeting? We can prime them with what you're looking at, but they would be able to go into more
I think it would
detail.
help.
Okay.
Where we can ask questions, because this is our first line of care and inmates that are in custody. When someone has medical issues, you've got to take care of that business.
Well, I can tell you, we far exceed the 1.5-page medical screener that's prescribed by jail commission. We get extensive medical mental health treatment up front before they in our processing building, more than I would say probably anywhere else in the state. And I've been in pretty much every other jail in the state.
But I just want to end with this. I want you to understand, this is not me personally. I'm doing my job.
No, of course.
Appointed to do. And all the rest of the commissioners are doing the same thing. So this is not personal whatsoever. It is all commissioners.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the other items that I wanted to touch upon very quickly is encouraging that your inmate population is going down. So I believe that we've all recognized that your average length of stay and the movement of inmates through the criminal justice system is something that unfortunately is outside of your control. And it does require outside forces within the county to address that. And although a drop of 187 to 183, I'm hopeful that we will see a continued decrease in that average length of stay. And I was wondering, and I don't know if you have anybody here that might be able to address it, but we recently received, and I believe Harris County did as well, there was an evaluation comparison by Office of Court Administration regarding judicial officer workload. Are you familiar with that, or is there anybody with your party here this morning that is familiar with the review by Office of Court Administration?
Director Mills wasn't able to make that meeting. We've looked at it, but I wouldn't feel comfortable commenting on it.
One of the things that we picked up on whenever we reviewed it is that Office of Court Administration indicated that you needed a minimum of 60 additional judicial officers in order to be operating at an efficient level. And that is something that we would encourage the county, outside of the sheriff's office, of course, because you are only responsible for operation of the county jail. But moving these individuals through the system it has to occur, because if not, it all backs up at the county jail. And at that point in time, we all know what your population projections look like. I believe by 2035, there is a number out there that indicates that you would need close to 20,000 jail beds.
Yes, sir.
And when we're having difficulties staffing a 10,000 bed system, I think we all know what the challenges in the future hold for us. So this system, which the jail is part of, has to be operating as efficiently and effectively as possible. Again, I know that that is not within your control, but I do think that the sheriff's office and the sheriff as an elected official of the county, along with the commissioners for it, who are responsible for the funding of that facility that you are honored to operate, need to be really pushing those initiatives in order to address this inmate population with us. It's encouraging that the 175 additional positions that were granted to the sheriff's office for jail operations, that you've already been able to start beginning to fill those positions, because I think that we've discussed it time and time again, while you may actually have sufficient beds within your Harris County jail system to accommodate all the inmates that you currently have, the staffing associated with those beds has been one of the issues that you've been trying to contend with and address. So I think there is progress being made, but there's still a long ways to go. I believe that one of the concerns, as the Commissioner has very clearly pointed out, is does the staffing deficiency that you have experienced, the impact it has on delivery of necessary medical care to the facility and the inmates in there. I know that the commissioners and myself will look forward to the presentation that you're going to provide at the next meeting. We have, from time to time, identified lapses, whatever that has occurred, and we want to ensure that those do not occur in the future.
Yes, sir.
So,
And that is an item, Brendan, Director Wood, on the monthly coordinating council, where they bring in all those other entities that make up the bulk of the system. That is a continuing topic.
Mr. Chairman, I may request some assistance with the wording on the recommendations. We have representatives from the Office of Attorney General here with us this morning. As you know, the remedial order has previously been referred to the Office of Attorney General for enforcement. We have been in discussion and contact with representatives from the Office of Attorney General. And at this time, we are requesting that we be provided authority to continue working with the Office of Attorney General in crafting an agreed second remedial order. And at this time, I would ask if the Attorney General representative, if we request that we be given permission as staff to enter into that agreed second remedial order with the county, would that require a special meeting be called in order to enter into that agreed remedial order?
A special meeting would not be required. We could, the commission today can approve staff to enter into the agreed remedial order.
Thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, the recommendation would be that you authorize staff to enter into an agreed second remedial order with Harris County based upon documentation prepared by the Office of Attorney General for enforcement of that remedial order.
To be brought back at the next commission meeting.
Yes, sir, they would be on the agenda as old business. They would be required to attend and provide updates, as would staff provide updates to you regarding efforts to regain compliance in Harris County.
Could we add the Commissioner Locke's request that they be entered either before or by that time of the meeting? The question that Mr. Locke has.
Yes, sir, I believe that we can include language that would address Commissioner Locke's questioning and concerns into the language of the agreed second remedial order.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation, Commissioners. Is there any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve? We have a motion by Commissioner Locke.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Perry. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you all.